We'll take one great breath in, like taking a drink. So you'll swallow that air into your lungs. Breath in. Try it one more time, and in the midst of that, if you just give your head a wiggle to make sure that there's no grabbing in the neck, okay, that all of that energy and breath pressure is coming from the core. One more breath in. Excellent. Tongue touching the back of the teeth. Making sure that it's not a whole lot of placement change. Try to use all of your breath. Don't hold your breath ever. One more time. More slender, so just remember, think about swallowing the porcupine, you should be fine. Ready, again. Hand that to me on off. Physically hand it to me. One more second. There we go. Good. Do it one more time with a quiet inhale. Great. We're going to say day, night, high, low on those chords. Really lovely. What do all four of those words have in common?
Diphthongs.
Yeah, all diphthongs. The two handles, just spectacular. Yeah, well done. Have a seat and take out floating moon.
I feel like I'm going to knock this over at some point.
Floating moon.
What is it?
So for me, I think if you're seated, it should be higher or later. What I mean is, oh, I don't want to. Yeah, go ahead and fill on it. Even if you want to move to the front row. Or yeah, oh, got it.
I want a little Norway burst tonight. That's the pencil I
I'd like, please find measure 63.
was trying to steal it.
I'd like to start at 63. 63 with first soprano and first alto. This is right in the middle of the sort of back and forth between first alto and first soprano and second alto here, this sort of reflection, if you will, mirrored in the text. I'll tell you what I'm listening for. It's measure 65, first altos. Okay? So, first soprano, first alto, singing on Da, please, measure 63. With parts for right now. Every two measures, or approximately. All right, let's take 2D voices right on the downbeat of 67, top of page 10. Some of you are finishing a phrase, first alto, first soprano are starting that new phrase. Everyone's on Da. Really, we're just going to take this through that key change as well. Okay? Just hitting some of these transition points, walking points. Thanks, Allyss. Relief on a wall where it's 3D, but not by a lot, right? So in this sense, when you have the ahs, I need you to be the darkness that allows for the melodic contour to shine through. Okay, can you be the shadow to the light there? And then switch places, right? And it's really every two measures where that happens. Where I start to lose the definition of the melody is the dotted quarter eighth note combinations. And I think if we just put a little more emphasis on the little note, that will come through. All right? Let's start at that same spot again. And we will get through the modulation. 67.
Marie had it right.
Save, if you can,
Thanks, Marie.
save just a little bit, or I'm going to say it this way. Actually do the crescendo in 76. I was going to say, save some to grow, but it didn't actually happen, so, yeah.
Noted.
71 first and second altos, much better. Hear those two pitches separate, distinct, and interesting. Question.
We want to sing a D in 7.
Yes, you do.
Really bad.
I know. It's the seductive second sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is D minor chords. I just can't stop listening.
Especially if
First altos, can we just hear that starting in 71? And then we'll, second sopranos, you're on notice. You'll be joining us in a moment. Thanks, Allyss. Yeah, that's the idea. Good. Second sopranos, can you start with us in the same spot, downbeat of measure 71? I know it's not ideal, but well, we'll just tune these octaves. Why not? Da. Next week. But if you can, right now, just don't hold your breath, sing right through it. That's it. Great. Just one more little spot I'd like to check, and that's the final 3 measures. Measure 100. So if you want to mark that in, that's exactly what I'll be doing, okay? And the majority of the ritardando, though it's marked at the beginning of the measure, really will take place beats 3 and 4, okay? And then it's staggered breathing. You might even make it with your neighbor that you're going to breathe in measure 100 so that you don't have to breathe in 101 through 102, okay? No breath first altos either. That was your next question, right? Same place? Very, very nice. And I know it feels reversed here, first and second sopranos, but actually the balance was really quite nice. Let's do that one more time. See if we can line up the first 3 eighth notes together a little cleaner. Okay? One more time. I'm going to try something else. Good answer. All right. Heart on your sleeve. How do you feel about it? Yeah. When I turn to you with a look of terror, you'll just jump to parts and it'll be fine. we haven't looked at for almost a month, really. Sort of the bottom of page 7 through the top of 8, 9. Yeah, just a little bit of that 4-part delight there, which we can spend a little time with next week, and then coming in on page 13, or even starting after that modulation, right? Just yeah.
We were discussing like these.
Yeah, and I think honestly the trickiest part is that alto part. Just nothing we've heard before, right?
Quick question.
So yeah.
On page 6, top 35, I had a note that you had the second story of the altos just for that page.
Right.
Is that correct?
The divisi of that soprano line is just for soprano.
Okay.
Yep. So second sopranos jump down to reinforce that melody only on that page. Yep. Great. Well, beautiful playing. That's going to be stunning, and hopefully Mindy has a contact who's going to be able to come and teach us the Taiwanese.
Yes.
So, exciting. Would you take out Hymn to the Dawn?
She goes up.
Sopranos.
Yeah.
First. Yeah. In fact, it would just odd. No one would be the wiser. Yeah. All I'm interested in doing with this today is working verse 1. And as I was preparing for rehearsal, I thought, what is it that matters most? Because we've talked about this sort of mantra that this piece takes on of having the 3 identical sections. And what it boiled down to for me, I made an acronym, which was BIDF. And rolls off the tongue, BIDF, which is balance, it is tricky because of the extremes of the range, okay? And even asking some voice parts to hang in a tesseratura, okay? So it's the balance of all 4 parts, it's intonation. I don't mean to look at you second sopranos, but yours is the trickiest, okay? It's diction and it's phrasing. That's the foot. Bidfoot. So balance, intonation, diction, phrasing. Okay? So I think if we just bidfa this first verse, we should be all right. I'm going to ask that as we run through this, we're going to try it one more time with parts, okay? And then we'll go back and try it with the accompaniment. Let's stand in solidarity with our first soprano sisters. And overall, second altos, I think you can get away with bumping everything up about 20%. Okay. Let's see. Okay? Here we are, on the text, right where we start. I want the aspiration without it becoming like an E-flat. Okay? So, and I think it's hardest maybe when it's down low, okay? I feel it coming across the roof of my mouth. You go. I will take all the responsibility for the release of Ancient, which should be on the end of beat 4. I was a little unclear there. I'll take the blame this once. No, roll, let's roll it. True, yeah.
Same on bridge.
Great, yeah, I think we can roll that sucker. Yeah. And while we're talking about R, beat, let's have an essentially non-existent between here, here, This is maybe more important in second soprano and first soprano. Okay? Especially second soprano. Here, okay? So that there's absolutely no delay in hitting the middle of the bullseye on the second note. Yeah. Great. I went just a tiny bit faster than I have before. Did that feel better?
Yes.
Great. Then we get, I still want 8th rest releases after Goddess. Okay? So I think we can probably do a little bit better with that. The only other thing is, before we try it one more time, that is second sopranos from O to God of Goddess. You almost have to think of a small ascent. It's the one place it just dips. Oh, God. And I think if you think of the ga as being a little brighter as opposed to, can I have an E? Thank you. Right? Like just the vowel change can change the timbre, and I know you're not singing it out of tune, but you can almost get away without even singing a G. You could make it a K.
Yeah.
You could make it a K, which uses the blade of the tongue, right? Oh, that's easier. Let's try that, second sopranos. Yeah. First sopranos can do that too. Oh, goddess! Ye of the sea. Okay. Yeah. We fillet you with much love. All right. Good. Now, I know I've given you like 17 instructions, but there is one more, and that is, let's make phrase shape. Right? That this first. Hear our hymn, O Goddess. Right? These are long, drawn-out phrases, but I think we can still make something happen with them. Okay? You do ever young and yet ancient beautifully, but what happens before it needs the same attention. One more time with parts. you drive crescendos. Lowest voice drives crescendos. You can do more with that. Okay, I think you can. And the other thing is, what I hear is we start with a little bit, like our molars are very close together on that. And then we're crescendoing by adding resonance. And we all would feel better if it starts with big resonance and we're crescendoing with breath. Could we start ever young yet ancient? Just really resonate with that line. I think we can begin the crescendo right away as opposed to waiting for beat 3. I was like, why do all of these texts, this whole theme, why does this resonate with me so much? And, you know, it's not news that the moon, even the cosmos at night, is often representative of the feminine. But I feel this imbalance in the universe. I think we all do. that the feminine often represented like instinct and intuition and gut feeling and empathy. And I feel like for centuries that was vilified, right? It was called witchcraft. It was, I mean, women lost their lives because of this, because of tapping into the feminine. Yeah, there's been censorship on it, and it was replaced, and there was power given to logic and reason and things we can touch and see and smell and taste, and it's objective, and with that comes an emotional distance. And I think I think you are, I think women in general, those who identify as women, are ready to sort of reclaim that power and say that it is equally valid and does deserve its place right alongside with logic. Not to say that I don't believe in science, but that's not what I'm saying at all. But this idea that, like, I know every one of you in here has had that gut reaction to something, right? That intuition, that feeling of like, yes, this is right, or no, this is wrong. And I think sometimes we're told that that's invalid. And so I think that's why this text, it vibrates in me that we can reclaim that and give it a place and power. So Anyway, I promised to talk about that. I remember about a month ago. So, there it is now. So,